Yeah, actually, I didn't know that either. That makes sense. I want to wish everybody a happy solstice and a Merry Christmas in the coming new year. Something fantastic to look forward to. Something that you can co-create into a new love light experience as you visualize it. And that's what meditation really is, isn't it? We can co-create, visualize during these sessions, these powerful sessions that we have here. Something that we want to outpicture, something beautiful in 2022. Maybe that's going to be our theme. Maybe that's going to be an idea that we can use. So for those of you who are new, my name is Dennis Fisher. This is the Temple of Clarity in Vista, California. You're welcome to type into the chat if you have a question later on. Let us know who you are and where you are from. We appreciate that. Surprisingly, I'm very popular in India. Over 50% of the people that watch Temple of Clarity is from India.
That's fantastic.
And that's interesting to me.
Well, they're searching for real truth. There's so many charlatan gurus there that they're looking for true wisdom. So you should feel very honored that they're seeking you out.
And I get emails from people asking me questions here and there, which is interesting. To pray for them, I'm very willing and open to pray. That's what we do as light workers. We include people in a bigger umbrella of our mantle of light, under our protection and under our prayers. For those who communicate with God regularly, there is a more direct, quicker connection, I've discovered. When you are in practicing on a regular basis, reinforcing this communication with the divine, it becomes quicker and easier, quicker and easier. That is the practice. And if we all pay attention to that, and I think we can all go around the room later, you'll notice that, yes, it happens faster, quicker, almost instantaneous. The synchronicities, the blessings, they come like a waterfall sometimes. One thing that the Ascended Masters have said about this time of year, the winter time, it's a time to go within. It's a time to go into the cave, the temple of the soul, because it's cold outside. And that is the sanctuary. That is the place of peace. That is the place of warmth. That is the place of knowing. And in that practice of meditation and inner communication with God, inner communication with the divine, however you see it, the deeper communication sometimes happens this time of year. Sometimes happens in this now moment. So in that holy expectancy of this richer, deeper communication in this meditation, Let's go beyond what we've gone before, as it says in Star Trek. Go beyond where you have traveled. Go to the very edges of the universe. Go to the very feet of the Divine Mother and step outside time and space in that joyful experience. It takes will, focus, staying very clear in the present moment, staying very, very focused and grounded in this present moment. And that is the launching point. That is where you have the greatest success. So with that said, I'll do an opening prayer and then we'll start our meditation. Inwardly pray with me. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Alpha and Omega, the infinite by all your names, all your holy names and forms. We are your sons and daughters, birthed in time and space as reflections of your holy manifestation, moving in time and space. Come, O holy angels, come, O divine ones, come, O Buddhas from out the great silence. Open the door between heaven and earth. Let this light shine for all mankind to see. Let this light go out from our light bodies to all humanity, all beings, seen and unseen. Let this light feed our Divine Mother, the invisible beings that maintain the flowers, the oceans, the air, the water. Come, O Divine Mother. So we'll have a few minutes of meditation now, 15 minutes. Take every opportunity to stretch yourself into the timeless, infinite, absolute. Coming back. Coming back to your body temple. And as we come to a deep understanding that this is the temple, this body is the temple of the living God. This is the living temple of the living God. Sit with that for a moment. The living temple of the living God. Allow yourself to fully accept the magnitude of that understanding. And as we dip into the power, the light and the glory inside the temple, where is it? Look for it. Now within the heart, see the living temple. See the living God. The place where infinity meets the now. The very life, energy, the very place that springs eternal, holy vibrations all around you, in, through, and around, as you are the living temple of the infinite. from this place of power, from this place of absolute, you now have access to everything, anything. Around you, spinning like a galaxy, is infinite potential, infinite galaxies, infinite probabilities. That you can direct, control, put into motion new arrangements of creation as you lovingly choose to direct light and this spiritual substance from this place within, as you are the living temple of the infinite. See yourself emitting this light, shining this light, growing in the light, the wisdom, growing in the love, growing in the power and knowing of the totality of who, what you are. Empty yourself into this understanding. And be filled with this new filled with this new, filled with new. Eternal, creative potential. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome back to planet Earth.
Okay. Aloha. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Uri Ma. I'm very blessed to be considered a divine mother embodiment. Most people just call me Ma. And I volunteered to share a bit about my ancestry traditions tonight, since it's the winter solstice. So happy winter solstice, everyone. And we're going to do some fun things. So before I start, I shared a lot of this on Facebook, and some people were very concerned that I'd become a witch, pagan, I'm not sure. So let me reassure all of you that my spiritual path is oneness, one with the divine, one with each other, and one with all of creation. That's my spiritual path. All right. But I've always been fascinated by other cultures' traditions. And one of the most wonderful things that my mother did when I was growing up, which was that every Christmas, actually on the 24th, we would celebrate a different country's holiday traditions around this time. And that there were 3 kids. I was the oldest, and I had a stepsister 4 years younger than me, and a sister 6 years younger than me. And we would each get to choose a country to discover what they did in their closest holiday around now. So, you know, I chose Austria one time, and Sweden one time, and Italy, and I don't remember what my sister chose. Russia one time, I think I chose. And my stepsister and we would have to research in encyclopedias. So I'm old enough, so we had encyclopedias, what they did. And then my mother would go find food for, you know, from that country. I mean, it was really incredible what she did. And then my half-sister, my stepsister, every time it was her turn, she would choose American, and we had to eat hot dogs. Seriously? I mean, seriously? Oh, yes, we had to have apple pie. And then my mother would make a traditional Christmas dinner on the 25th. So the 24th was from a different country. The 25th was Christmas. It was really amazing that she did all that. Well, a number of years ago, I found out that my ancient ancestors were Swedish Sami. And they are the only the Samis are the only indigenous peoples in all of Europe. And they live up above the Arctic Circle. And they are only in Sweden, parts of Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Russia.
and it's dark most of the year. So what do you think their biggest celebration is? The winter solstice, when the light starts to come back, right? And most of them, traditionally, were reindeer herders. That's how they made their, how they survived. And they used everything in the reindeer. They also, their tradition was that everything had a soul. So the trees had a soul, the reindeer had a soul, of course. You know, people had a soul, everything had a soul. And they honored that in all life forms, and in the mountains, and in the rivers, and the streams, and etc. So their beliefs were that their creator god was named Gaba, which means white reindeer, big white reindeer, and that this was a he, created everything. And his blood created the rivers and the streams, and his fur created the forests, and his antlers created the mountains. But on the solstice, it was the dear mother that was celebrated. And by the way, all male reindeers lose their antlers in the winter. So I'm sorry, folks, but reindeer is a female. Okay, so only the females have antlers in winter. The males lose them. All right, so sorry to burst your bubbles, people. Okay, yeah, exactly. All right, so the story gets even more interesting. All right, so they believe that the dear mother brought the sun, carried the sun in her antlers to bring the light back to Earth, back to the planet. And the shamans, and they were all female, by the way, only female, all the shamans were female, and they wore red pointed caps. They wore red coats with fur on their collars and around the bottom and down the front. They wore shoes that have, all the Samis wear shoes that have a little curly Q at the end. Does any of this sound familiar? Okay. And they dropped pieces of amber down the chimneys to represent the sun coming back. So this was all before Christianity and the patriarchal society came along and turned the Sami's dear mother and the female Sami shamans into Santa Claus. Okay? Yeah, so look it up, it's everywhere. Okay, so the biggest person, the most authoritative person in the Sami culture was the shaman, because he or she, actually all she in that era, was the one that connected with all life forms. And how they brought the wisdom through them was mostly through a sacred Sami drum. Now, there's only 70 of original ones left in the world, because when, just like all indigenous cultures, the patriarchal societies and government came in and tried to wipe out all of them, and they believed that their drums, because they used their drums to connect with spirit, that must be the devil that is coming through the drums. And so they destroyed all of the drums. Okay. So my daughter, Kyla, the one who passed on September 21st, she went to visit our distant ancestors, the Samis. Oh, and by the way, we are out of our Swedish ancestry. 25% of our Swedish ancestry is Sami. So she went back to visit our distant relatives, and she actually looks more like the Sami people than she does her twin sister, or than she did her twin sister, which is just really ironic. So she has always been interested in shamanism, and she bought a sacred Sami drum. She paid $2,000 for it, which of course makes me cringe. And the odd thing is that She came to visit me twice after she bought it, and she left it with me the first time because she said she, just wanted to leave it. She didn't want anything to happen to it. She was working as a psychotherapist in a delinquent detention facility when she passed in Florida. And then she came to visit another time, and she still left the drum with me. So the amazing thing about that is that if she had had it in Florida with her when she passed, it probably, who knows where it would have gone. And so it's part of her new to leave it with me. So as you can see, there's symbols all over it, and each symbol represents something. So what the shaman would do, can you hold this while I just, so there is a, uh-oh, I'm tangled. So there is a little piece of, so at the very tip of reindeer antlers is a little fuzzy part. So this is from the tip, from the base of reindeer antlers. And they put it on the drum, and they took this, and I'm not sure what they called it. They called upon Gaba, the creator, reindeer spirit, white reindeer spirit. They asked a question, and they drummed for an answer while, so I'm just going to demonstrate and ask. I'm going to pass this around. Everybody's going to get to ask a question, okay? So I'm going to ask, what is it I need to pay attention to in the coming year? And so you'll notice that the little token thing starts moving, and you have to do your best to keep it as level as possible. Stop, and then that's the answer. Where this is stopped is here. This represents the sun, and this represents ground or whatever, shining the light on the ground. And I would say that this, my interpretation would be that my job is to continue to bring the light down to earth in the coming year. Now we have I also have a deck of Sammy Oracle cards that have other symbols on them that we can play with a little later, and that she has, the woman, the Sammy woman who wrote them, has her description, so that's more detailed, but for right now we're just going to do this. All right, everybody want to try?
Yeah. Sure.
All right, who's next?
Lisa?
Lisa?
Okay.
Oh,
Or do the symbols on what she wrote match up with the card so that you could
Okay. This card, right. In the center, is that what she put it?
yeah,
Just start in the center.
yeah, set it in the center, and you want to try to hold
hold
it
it level.
The level.
Hold it level.
Okay.
And then just keep tapping it, and don't keep your tapping consistent. And at some point it will just stop.
Okay.
Ask the question.
Okay, the question is, what is new for me next year? That's funny, it went the completely different direction.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any idea what this is? This one, it's over here. This,
I went by also.
there's maybe some people out there.
Okay, so what would you say that is? What do people represent? People represent
Community.
community.
Right, I'm going to the community.
Right.
What was your question?
Where am I going next year?
Community.
Community. Yes, let's see. You're
They
next.
also do, that's a really good point, Dennis. They also do look at where it goes from, what the path is that it follows.
Oh, so the path went from the sun to the two little.
Yeah,
hills?
I'm not sure, I'm looking through this to see if there's that symbol on here.
Through the mountains, over the hills and through the glen.
All right.
To Grandma's house.
Grandma's house over there. No, that's definitely people. Community, yay.
You're more better at this than I am.
More better.
That's what they say in Hawaii.
More
So I was
better.
horrified when one of my younger twins, when she was 6, came home and said, Mommy, I'm learning to read more better. It's Hawaiian. Said, yes, you're learning to read better.
Nick, what is your question?
I think I'll stay on the same theme as all of you guys and what's in store for me next year. Because that just seems to be, that's the topic. And by the way, this is a really cool drum.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I've never seen anything like it. All right, let's
So
do
you
it.
start off in the center, right?
Were these here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just put it in the middle here, probably. And then I just hit it anywhere.
Level, and yeah, but keep it consistent in your tapping, so you're not influencing. Let's stop there.
Seem to land on a mushroom.
A temple.
Yeah, I think it's a temple.
That's a temple.
Sure. This one here.
Yes, that's a temple.
I don't think
That's a temple.
Hmm.
So what does the temple mean to you? Yes, you do now. Don't lie to me.
I'm not trying to lie. It's either the SRF temple, which it actually kind of looks like, the self-realization. But what first came to mind was just, the monkhood thing and that kind of thing. But now that I actually see it, and that scares me, because that's a big commitment, becoming a monk or, going that route, which because your sister went that route. But no, this picture looks like the SRF. Like, doesn't it, Dennis?
It looks like SRF.
Remember what Dennis just said is a meditation. What is the temple?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
the body. Yeah, inside. Yeah.
yeah,
That's really cool. And it went right to it.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, isn't it?
it's got a mind of its own.
Yeah,
Mind of its own, yeah.
right.
Mind of its own. Okay, Jane.
No, I couldn't find anything. If you want to take a picture of it, you can even look online. Oh, okay. Well, you remember, it looks like a heart with, or Lori could maybe send you something more. But, beautiful.
Sammy drum. This is
What
shaman,
is your question?
shaman Sammy drum.
Will I be at the same workplace throughout the year?
I think hold it up off of your
Oh,
hold
okay.
it up with-
Like that?
And hold in the bar in the
Do you
middle.
hold it in the back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the back.
In the back.
there's
So
a bar.
in the back, see underneath it? There's a little bar in the bottom.
Oh, okay,
And then keep it as level as
It
possible.
starts in the sun.
okay.
Kind of looks like a penguin or kind of a bird.
Oh, right. It's the, this.
See if there's a card for that.
I don't know that there is.
I haven't either.
Just gonna stop there, it's gonna stop. What's your first impression when you, what did you feel when you, see that? For you, what is your first impression?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I know. It is interesting.
So maybe I'll be staying.
What was that?
Maybe I'll be staying.
Well, because it didn't move very far
Yeah,
and it just stayed there.
yeah. Maybe I'll be staying here.
exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
When it first, because it didn't go anywhere really.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
So I
It
think
was like on its own little journey. It stopped. A little thing.
I think you're gonna be staying too.
Yeah.
I hope you want to stay.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. It's just the circumstances. Whoop.
The distance that it goes. I think you have some completion there first, and then you have maybe change in the following
Yeah.
year.
Oh.
What'd you
Oh,
say?
yeah.
What does that mean?
Fast.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I got you.
What is your question?
I think I'll just, I'm like, what is happening? Not in that lingo at all. I'll just ask the same thing, like guidance for the following year. Boy, it just beelined for that, didn't it? That was interesting.
Looks like a tree.
It does. I think. Well, and it might be like crop or yeah. Well, that means yeah, harvest. Yeah, yeah,
That your business is going
And-
to come to fruition.
yeah, yeah. That's very cool. Yay! All right, Dennis.
Okay, it's my turn.
Back over there. Or you can do it, Lisa. Whatever. Do you want to go sit back there?
Let me sit in my chair, my power
It's the power chair, right. Okay. This is awesome. I really like this.
I know, we're
Let's-
fun, huh?
That's, oh, that's a person to me, don't you think? Person. Maybe a priestess. I don't know.
What's my question? I'm going to ask where the Holy Spirit is going to shine the brightest next year
For you?
for the
This has-
world. Has to be for me?
No.
For me.
And try again.
All right.
He's getting up himself, Ken.
Has to be for me. Okay.
Yes.
Each of us is an aspect, of God.
I'm going to ask where will be my greatest growth next year?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Good question.
I had some growth this year.
Okay, go team, go.
And let's let it dance.
I think that's a Native American tune, honey. Stop. Okay, stop.
She likes whatever that is.
So it's like a container of
Hmm. You see it? No. What's this one?
Just to show the online people, this is where it's for me, right in there, parked itself, kind of like turned and parked itself in that spot. Now we have to discern what it is.
Okay, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, Dennis?
Well, what came to my mind is that it's a container of like different aspects of God as like letters of God energies. So one looks like a T, the other one looks like an F, one looks like a 7, or one's an X, and one is a half of a 0.
Okay, well, they wouldn't have those letters or numbers, so.
They wouldn't have those. Those are like symbols. So symbols are like anything. Any help?
I think it's a stage. I think it's a public performance.
A stage. Oh, a stage.
Ooh. I don't know. I like hers.
A stage of public performance, maybe doing more public outreach or something. Jane, what do you have for me?
Any insight?
Look.
This one. Huh?
Oh, that's,
Little fuzz
it's
is coming off of it.
it's shitty.
Hugs and kisses is Jane's. Nick, what do you got for me?
It looks like a bunch of different symbols of, religious type stuff. Like one looks like a cross, kind of.
Uh-huh.
This looks like a,
What was that in those runes, like little runes, those little symbols? Lori, come on.
I like Lisa's idea that you're gathering people together to, different kinds of people. Like you said, the East Indians are following you, and that you're sharing your wisdom with different cultures. And his love, yes, and his love.
That's very cool. Yeah, I would say a gathering. I think it's a gathering of. We could be way off, but we can interpret it ourselves. A gathering of different. She just dedicated that one. Well, remember what Paula told us, that each drum is individual.
Yes. Each drum is individual, so there's no set symbols on all the drums. So we have a different oracle thing that we could do too. Yeah.
Put this in that thing.
Yep. So
It looks like a pink one, and we put away this. So I'm gonna-
okay.
Veronica's asking a question online.
Yes, Veronica.
She says, can a question be asked online and someone else can drum?
Yes.
Yes. So if you'd
Let's
like
do
to,
that. Christy, you drum for Veronica.
Veronica, do you have a question that you would like us to drum? Go ahead and type it in the chat. And then Eric and David are online. If you guys want us to drum for you and your question, go ahead and type it in the chat. And for those people on the Heart Center website, there is that special chat that we have.
And while we're waiting for them to type in their questions, I had a couple of really cool experiences recently where I was watching this current female Sami shaman do a talk about Sami shamanism, and she took us through a meditation. And this was before I knew about Gaba, the creator, white reindeer. And I suddenly morphed into this white reindeer in spirit, and then I just moved out to become one with everything, one with the, and then then I wondered, well, was I just, because my spiritual path is oneness, was I just making that up? And then I found out, well, Gaba, is, the creator God that's one with everything. So that was very cool. And then in my dream time, a couple days after that, I had a reindeer in spirit, white reindeer in spirit, dropping reindeer medicine into my back, which I've been having problems with. So it was amazing. Yeah. Found out recently, it looks like I fractured my vertebrae a while ago and didn't do anything about it because I didn't know. And so now it's healing.
I just saw that your symbol means resourcefulness.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I'm seeing if I can find it.
So Christy just found that Jane's symbol means resourcefulness.
It's a little hat. Yeah. I like that.
Is there any more information on that?
It is just a guide. Let me see. I'm on images, and it's just a guide that has the picture and one word about it.
Oh, okay.
That's like a key. There might be other things, though.
So David or Eric, if you have a question, go ahead and type it in.
Did Veronica ask a question yet?
She hasn't. Veronica, if you'd like to get that question in.
Okay, so I have another idea we're going to do in the meantime. So these are our Sammy Oracle cards that I'm sure they didn't actually use in the form of cards back in the day. But they're the same symbols as on the drums. And you can see that there's a drum on one side and then there's symbols on the other side. And we have the ledger of what they mean. So I think everybody should come up and get a card after you ask another question, and then we will let you read about what your answer is. All right, so I'm going to ask Gaba to help you choose the perfect card for you in answer to your question. All right, Lisa, come up and get a card.
Okay.
Okay, what number is that?
It's 34.
Okay, so the book's right there.
Yeah, Lisa, it's right there. So, just put them on your 34. Okay.
Leslie's online. Leslie, if you want to type in a question.
Just one moment.
Well, actually, I'm going to have you put that back in here just after you.
34, and it's an upside down. What is this? It's an upside down person, and it looks like a tree house and a cross and maybe a planet. Okay. Okay. There's short.
Yes, Leslie, you can ask a question, and Christy will drum for you for your answer.
Okay. Oh my goodness. This is the underworld.
Okay, but that's not, they don't mean that bad. They don't mean, the underworld isn't bad to them.
There are three
It's-
parts to the spirit realm, or the salvo. The upper layer is where the highest, there are three parts to the spirit realm, and the upper layer is where the highest spirits and gods reside. The middle world is where the animals and humans, and the underworld, so the realms of the dead, our ancestors. These are not really seen so much as physical places, but as different levels of human consciousness. Sami myths share many elements with Scandinavia, Finnish, and Siberian mythology, and vice versa. In some Sami stories, the land of the dead is called Rotamio, remember something, god of the death, and it can be found at the bottom of the lake, and the story most likely born from the act that there are numerous bottomless lakes in the Lapland area. And the underworld is also home to the spirit animals, meaning meditate and slide down that tree until you're sitting. Sorry, I'm trying to read fast so we don't take up too much time. Maybe, and that's it.
And sometimes she interprets things at the end that we don't think are actually very accurate. So when you get to her interpretation.
Sitting by the fire with your ancestors and see which animal comes out of the woods and sits by your side. Study the attributes of that animal, listen to which it has to teach you, and ask it who they see in you? What are your hidden treasures? Your ancestors offer you the pain of their experience and accept them as a gift and apply them to your life. Don't edit your life or make yourself smaller to please them. Kill off any doubts about past decisions you made in your life, and rid yourself of people and situations that need to be dead to you. Okay, short and sweet.
Oh, wait a minute. We have Veronica online.
Okay.
So Veronica's question, Christy, is what's coming up for the business my husband and I are working on together? What's coming up for the business my husband and I are working on?
What was your name, Veronica?
Veronica. Here it comes.
Into the same symbol that mine did,
Going to be
which is
growing corn.
it's the like
The harvest.
Harvest.
This- That's a very good sign. So the harvest symbol came up. So it looks like a very prosperous new year, next year.
Awesome.
Veronica says, "Thank you so much."
Give that back to me.
what was it?
They didn't ask a question.
Oh,
I didn't ask any questions. I let the reindeer goddess guide
What's
me.
gonna happen? Something next year. Tell me a little bit about next year. That's the
So Nicholas is asking a question to the oracle cards about what's going to happen next year.
Oh, well, she's got
8, that's integration.
8 is integration. And Lisa, could you hold the mic up to him so we can hear what it says? And then Leslie is online and she has a question after this for the drum.
All right, the ash tree, a sacred tree and part of the cosmology of the tree of life. The symbol of the tree of life isn't really an individual symbol. It creates the actual structure of the drum and is painted in the center. It is a top-down, stylized perspective of the world, protecting all 4 directions. The hole painted in the center of the drum is the core of the tree that acts as a portal for traveling to different levels of existence. The world tree is a pillar that reaches to the North Star, which holds up the universe like a tent pole. Different Sami regions had different ways of depicting the 3 worlds and the placement of the sun. My meaning. Are we doing her meaning?
well, if you like it. If you don't,
Okay.
I don't.
Let's skip her meeting.
A powerful symbol embodying endless interpretations and a theme that is found in all faiths. In the Lenormand system, the tree is about health, inheritance, and family. I like to start with those ideas and then add the layer of timelessness, of blending of all mental states, growth, ancestors, connectedness, destiny, fate, roots. You are on the right path. Let it happen.
All right.
That was perfect.
Awesome.
That was perfect.
All right.
Literally.
So I'll take that card back, and then let's do.
Leslie's online.
Carter wants a drum.
She wants a drum. Leslie wants a drum.
Thank you.
The question is, what is the message of the cat crashing into my atrium?
What's an atrium?
Glass, glass.
Nick, do you mind getting the microphone to find out where this is going for Leslie?
Okay. So this is the image. Looks like a snowman.
Looks like a little snowman. So can you bring this over so we bring it to this camera up here? That is a camera right up there. And yeah, now it looks good. Now
So it's this one here.
that is what the drum. It looks like a little snowman,
Well,
but
they have the Sami have like 387 words for snow. They all mean something different, and I would say that's a female snow woman, because she has a doesn't have legs. She has like a skirt, and it's that there's life around her. So there's growing. And how does that relate to your cat? Crashing in the atrium. I would say use your intuition, Leslie, because I don't know.
Can she see this?
so the camera is that big camera right there.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah.
So this right here.
So Leslie, we're kind of puzzled by the question
And the answer.
and the answer.
Oh, it does look kind of like a keyhole too.
We do have David has a question too. David Orlando.
Here, why don't you do it so you're already over here?
Okay, well then you do this.
Okay.
Okay, but
We're switching roles here. So David's question is, what would the Divine Mother Mary like me to do for the coming up year?
Okay. Got too absorbed with the question here. All right.
I get it level.
Let me start over there.
Seems to stop.
Yeah, it's the same one that you had. He's going to be talking to.
Oh, the microphone.
Yeah, it's the same one that Dennis had. So you're going to be public speaking to groups of different types of people.
So that's the same one I had, David.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's going to be a big year.
It's a good year for us. Yeah, that the camera's right there, so you can just point to it, and then he can pause it. So that's the symbol right there, David.
Is it showing up?
Yeah, it shows up good, nice and clear. Okay, Eric, you don't have a question? I think that's it for the online people.
Okay, let's do a card.
Leslie says, "Me too," also. Her question, I guess. Just that's what came through. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I have to be resourceful with the excuse I make come up with.
Here, I'm gonna use
So Christy just spread the cards for Jane. And she got number 7.
Here, you want to read number 7? Number 7 is goddesses. This is Jane's, right?
Wow.
Ooh, goddesses 3. It says the 3 daughters of Matakaraka, who shaped an unborn babe's body around the soul and helped mothers give birth. Okay, this is like it's like the role of Mother Mary. Mother Mary does this. And give birth. Jakashaka, who can make an unborn child male, is the instructor of boys and lives near the entrance of the home. And Yeskaka, who is the midwife and the protector of menstruating women and sick children. In homes she stood near the door to protect the children. My meaning, these goddesses for me, my meaning, ... These goddesses for me represent the importance of small, daily, seemingly unimportant tasks that ultimately create the safe environment for our loved ones and make lunch and a cup of tea, FaceTiming a sick friend, running an errand, empathy, caring for the vulnerable, slowing down to find times for others, and make up your village. Sometimes I also feel their energy as being similar to the 3 norms. Is that norms? Norms?
3
N-O-R-N.
Norns?
Norns, whom I regularly visit regularly at the foot of Vegdrizel. I think that this is because the norms always have very practical nonsense advice for me.
It's probably gnomes.
Maybe so, but they misspelled it the same twice, so it's okay. It is a norm, or yeah, spirits talking to me.
Interesting. You want to take a card, Christy?
I don't need to. We did it earlier.
Okay,
Dennis, you wanna
Dennis?
do one?
Yeah, I would like to.
This is fun. This is like a post-Christmas party without the food.
So I have to get my question.
Yes. Yeah, I think they'd find a better way to spell it out for me. I got little hands. They don't go very far.
I'm going to ask, will there be adventure in the year 2022 for me?
All right.
We already know that.
Every day is an adventure. Number 32. Do you want to just, one of you just read it?
Looks like a
You can read it this time. You did a good job.
looks like a little snowman. Pretty happy.
Hey, well maybe we'll know, yeah, for Leslie. Except this one has feet.
This one has feet and trees.
Yeah,
The other one had trees too.
yeah.
Here, I'll.
Say Sami or Sammy. People pronounce it both ways.
All right,
to
so with 32.
put this up here for you guys to look at. There's my adventure, number 32. Go ahead, Nick.
32, Spirit Guide. Perfect for Dennis. The Sami believe that each one of us has our own spirit guide. It may be a particular god or goddess or an ancestor. My meaning. This card is calling you to reconnect to your inner voice and to nature. Your ancestor would like a daily dialogue with you to guide you and call you back to be a part of the earth. Light a candle in remembrance of your ancestors. Visit your homeland. An issue from your childhood may need resolving, or a past conflict in this life. Forgive anyone who has angered or hurt you. If you ever do any inner child work, remember that it is not enough to simply heal her and hold her close. You have to put her back inside of you so you know that you are whole again. Gather and create a family journal of stories and photos. Do a family tree. Know that you are being watched over and divinely protected. Wisdom.
Right on.
So Leslie's may be a god
Leslie's may be a goddess spirit guide.
So the spirit guide is crashing through the atrium to try to get her attention.
The spirit guide is crashing through the atrium trying to get your attention
Paying attention.
because you're not paying attention, Leslie. So that's our new description.
I think we're pal.
Unless somebody,
Do you want to say any final words?
Well, I want to thank Kyla for purchasing this amazing, authentic shaman Sammy drum when she was over there visiting them, and giving it to me to use for all of us. So thank you, Kyla. In spirit, we're very, very grateful. And hopefully everybody enjoyed that, and it broadened your horizons of where Santa Claus came from.
I never
So-
heard of this before. This is all brand new territory for me, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so you'll never look at Rudolph the same way anymore. So we know it's a female. We know that Santa is just a knockoff of the true Sami female shamans. All right, and happy winter solstice to everyone.
Happy winter solstice. Thank you, everyone. We're going to end the broadcast. God bless you. I just want to check one last time to see if Eric has put anything in there. David said, amazing, thank you, got it. All right. Well, God bless you, everyone. We're going to sign off. Tomorrow, we'll be broadcasting at the same time for the Divine Mother Worship Service to usher in this new light in the new year coming forward. We're going to finish strong, keep this light momentum moving, clearing, blessing, healing wherever we go. Good night, and God bless you all.